The corridors of the White House were eerily quiet at night. The only sounds that echoed were the rhythmic strokes of a mop against the marble floor and the distant hum of security radios. Among the grand portraits of past presidents and the extravagant chandeliers, Maria Alvarez moved like a shadow, silent, unnoticed, and invisible to those who mattered. Maria had been working as a janitor in the White House for over 15 years. She had seen presidents come and go, had heard political discussions that would shape the nation, yet no one ever noticed her. To them, she was just another worker, someone who ensured the hallways were spotless before the sun rose. But deep down, Maria dreamed of something more. She had always wanted to finish her education, to prove that she was capable of more than just cleaning floors. Yet life had never given her that opportunity, until one fateful night. That evening, Maria had stayed behind to clean the Oval Office. The grandeur of the room still left her in awe, no matter how many times she had been there. The resolute desk, the very symbol of power and leadership, stood strong in the middle of the room. She wiped the polished wood, imagining for just a moment what it would feel like to sit behind it, not as a janitor, but as someone who made decisions, someone who was heard. Lost in thought, she didn't hear the soft footsteps approaching until it was too late. "Working late, huh?" came a deep yet familiar voice. Maria jumped, nearly dropping her mop. She turned around and gasped. Standing before her, in his signature suit and warm smile, was none other than Barack Obama. Maria's heart pounded as she quickly stepped back, embarrassed. "I'm so sorry, Mr. President. I didn't mean to be in your way." Obama chuckled, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "Relax, Maria. This is your White House too." She swallowed hard, unsure of how to respond. Presidents didn't talk to janitors. They acknowledged them with a nod at best, but here was Barack Obama, engaging her in conversation as if she were his equal. He gestured toward the mop in her hands. "How long have you been working here?" Maria hesitated. 15 years, sir." Obama nodded thoughtfully. 15 years? That's a long time. You must have seen a lot." Maria let out a soft laugh. "More than most people would believe." Obama leaned against the desk, crossing his arms. "Tell me, Maria, if you could do anything, anything at all, what would it be?" She stared at him, her throat suddenly dry. No one had ever asked her that before. She had spent years suppressing her dreams, telling herself that they were out of reach. But something about the way he looked at her, genuinely curious, genuinely interested, made her feel like maybe, just maybe, her dreams weren't so foolish. "I always wanted to finish my education," she admitted in a near whisper. "I had to drop out of college to support my family, and once you start working, life doesn't slow down." Obama nodded, his face thoughtful. "Education is powerful. It opens doors you don't even know exist." He paused, then gave her a knowing smile. "So what's stopping you?" Maria looked down at her hands. "Money, time, fear, I guess. It's too late for me now." Obama straightened, his voice taking on the tone of a leader inspiring a nation. "Maria, it's never too late. The only thing standing between you and your dream is the belief that you can't achieve it." Her eyes widened. Could it really be that simple? A week after that conversation, Maria received an envelope with an official White House seal. She opened it with trembling fingers and gasped. Inside was an acceptance letter from a university, along with a scholarship signed by none other than Barack Obama himself. Tears welled in her eyes. He had done this for her. He had listened, and he had believed in her when she couldn't even believe in herself. That night, as she stood in the Oval Office once again, she whispered a silent promise. "I will not waste this opportunity." Maria balanced her studies with her work, pouring every ounce of energy into making the most of this chance. There were nights she barely slept, days she wondered if she was too old to be a student. But every time she doubted herself, she remembered Obama's words. Years later, Maria walked across a stage in a cap and gown, her diploma in hand. The audience erupted in applause, but all she could think about was that one night in the White House, that one conversation that changed her life forever. And as she took her seat, she saw a familiar figure in the crowd. Barack Obama, smiling proudly, just as he had that night. Maria didn't stop at just getting her degree. She went on to advocate for adult education, helping others like her return to school. She worked with organizations that supported working-class families, ensuring that no one had to give up their dreams because of financial struggles. She stood on stages, telling her story. And every time she spoke about that night, about the words that had set her free, she made sure to pass on the message. It's never too late to chase your dreams. One day, while preparing to give a speech at a community center, her phone rang. A warm, familiar voice greeted her. "Madam Chairwoman," Obama teased, "I hear you're making quite a difference out there." Maria smiled, her heart full. "I had a good mentor." He chuckled. "Keep going, Maria. The world needs more people like you." And with that, Maria knew that her journey was far from over. She had started as an invisible worker in the White House, but now she was a voice for those who had been silent for too long. And all it took was one conversation to change everything.